I was down by the stream, as I always was. My grandfather was beside me, as he always was. It was calm and peaceful, a peace I now wish could have lasted forever. A simplicity. Knowing I'd go home, knowing my parents would be there. Everything has changed now. He is old and faded, like a book many times read. They are gone. There's no comparison for that. The only thing to keep me going is the image of the Green Knight. As a child, I swore I saw him. Anyone would know it was just the green spring leaves twisting in the wind on the bending branches. But I saw a knight, his armor shimmering in the sunlight. He keeps me going through the rough buzzing of the universe, through the chaos of life. In a time where the whole world needs saving, I wish he would ride in and save us. But then, if he were truly here, what would a knight do against a pandemic? You can't slay a virus with a sword. Still, he comforts me. Yet, I feel that I am losing him. I've made my whole life revolve around him. The cafe I chose to start to keep myself afloat financially as I pursue painting is named after him. But so much for it keeping me afloat. My namesake cafe is now slowly dying in the clutches of the pandemic. There's only so much plexiglass shields an order pickup can do. Instead of a wide range of customers, our clientele has been reduced to the few who still go into work in person and who must grab a quick coffee in the middle of the New York hubbub that, virus or no virus, will never end. There are landlords to pacify and employees to uphold, and the money gets tighter and tighter as the pandemic spreads farther and farther. And as the numbers go up, so the income comes down. I wonder how long my business can survive. My Green Knight has taken a blow it would take a miracle to survive. And so I watch him bleed out. And as he does, so do I. Without my business, how do I survive? How does my grandfather, whom I must look after? I've lived by a code that doesn't apply here. I've lived by a fantasy. Now that fantasy is crushed by the iron fist of ugly reality. Reality is like a dragon who is impossible to slay. His breath is a deadly virus instead of fire, and the Green Knight has fallen to his knees before him. All I want is that peace and simplicity back, the safety of the forest behind my childhood home, and the dream of the Green Knight. But if I haven't learned to face hardships with a brave face and the best of my actions, then didn't I learn anything from the Green Knight at all? I'll fight to keep myself, my business, and my family afloat. What else can I do but try?
This is so unfair. I'm never listened to. Why can't you just take my word? I hate it here. There's nothing to do except write essays and do spellings. When my mum said I was going to school, she described it as a fun, joyous place, where I can make friends. But it's not. It's not that. It's just a place where we do the same pointless chores to benefit our memory. Guess what? My memory is kind of like a goldfish, always forgetting. I hate it here. I mean, people look at me and just expect I can fix my problems. I can't. I'm never listened to. Time is tough. My parents forced us that we had to move house. It's like, they weren't even considering us. I miss my old life. Playing football, not doing homework without a care in the world. But now, it's just all gone. go on forever. So, stuck here. In detention for once again caught copying. I have another 28 minutes. Right. What do you want me to write down? I kind of forgot. Oh, right, that's it. I have to do my own work, even if it kills me.
Guys, I think I'm gonna end live in just a little bit. I just have a couple more things I want to say. I remember scrolling through iMovie soundtracks trying to find the perfect backing for my new YouTube video. I was 12 at the time. The video was how to make friendship bracelets, and I genuinely thought I was going to go viral. I got 7 views and I never uploaded again. But yeah, and then a few months ago I started posting on TikTok. I started to gain a following. My last viral video got 10 million views. I mean, that's just crazy. And now I sit here about to edit my new YouTube video, and I'm just thinking, little 12-year-old me would be so proud. I mean, she'd be so happy. And I am. I really, really am. I think. No. I'm happy. Yeah. I have this persona, this image. Anna Cheltenham. That's not even my real name. My real name's Abigail. And then lockdown hit. And I was bored. And felt useless. I was bored of this room. All I did was sit in here and watch my screen all day. Look at a screen all day. Look at hate comments all day. And my manager, I mean, he's constantly giving me work to do. I mean, I've got to give it to him. He gave me something to do in lockdown. But then one day I received an email from him. Urgent, must do, no arguments. And it was an invitation to Dubai. To work with MAC Cosmetics. I mean, it's just a dream come true. It felt wrong to know that there were people dying and I was essentially going to be partying in Dubai. But I convinced myself I needed it. I needed to get away from this room and this house and this loneliness. It was a mental health break. That's the excuse. I'm gonna go now, guys. Maybe I'll go live again later in the week. Maybe, I don't know. I hope you understand. Bye, bye.
I'm Joe, and I'm, don't know, 13 or 14, lost track a couple of years ago. I am a grade 7 pupil at Montreal Outskirts Middle School. My only friends are Gary and Keith. We hang out a lot. One time we met up to skate around the city on down this one path me and Gary were fine. But Keith got stopped by a policeman, and the policeman started questioning him because he was black. He asked Keith stuff like, don't know. Me and Gary went to the corner shop to get Mo because he was black and we thought he could help. Him and his brother came. The cop shot Mo's brother because he had his hand in his pocket and thought he was pulling out a gun. The other neighbors came out and scared the cop away. And that's when I learned racism happens everywhere, not just America.
Okay, how do I start this? Hi, I'm James Matthew. Yes, hello. Hi, I'm James Matthew, and I think I'm the best person for this role because no, that's arrogant. I can't have arrogance. They won't like that. Will they? All these ghosts nowadays, constantly stealing people's jobs with their fabulous C's, doing like Silver Duke of Edinburgh, whereas my CV is just 50 years in the same office. God, I'd wish to have a more exciting CV. Okay, what should I say? My name is James Matthew, and I think I'm the best person for this role. You asked me to do 5 forms, and I'll get 10 done within an hour. Is that fair? Is that good? Oh, I'm thinking I'm arrogant. Oh, here's James Matthew, the 50-year-old arrogant, not 50-year-old, oh gosh, I'm losing my mind. The man who's worked in the civil service for 50 years, arrogant. Here's James Matthew. No, I can't have that. I can't have it. I need to be respected. I need them to understand that I am the best man for this job, no matter if I'm too modest to say so. Oh. Okay, you know what? Just a splash of cockiness, a splash of arrogance should be fine. Hi, I'm James Matthew, and I think I'm the best man for the job because I'm the most hardworking and really outgoing civil servant in the whole team. You will ask me to do 5 forms, and I will get you 10 done in an hour. That's why I think you should you should think about me taking on this position. Thank you, and please think about me for the role.
Hello, I'm John Powers, and welcome to Behind the Camera, where journalists get to share their own stories. So over the last 18 months, the issue at the forefront of global news has been the coronavirus. I was reporting in China at the end of 2019, around Christmas time. I did end up getting COVID reporting in a supermarket in Wuhan. Not as much was known back then, but luckily I was asymptomatic. So I thought it would be sort of fun. I could catch up on many hobbies and things I've always wanted to do, but from a hotel room. At first, it was almost exciting, frightening, very frightening, but exciting. After 2 weeks of testing and isolating, I finally made it back. And I knew this COVID-19 thing was going to stick around. There was no work to do, so I just sat there looking at the LA sky, hoping that the world would heal over and we'd have time to recover from the virus. But there was no end in sight. About a month in, I was called into work. I was so happy that I was finally doing something. Then the hours got longer. pay became lower. The stories got repetitive as they were always about COVID. I started to hate my job. I was always on my own, but most other journalists were reluctant to travel, taking the furlough option as it was safer. 2 hour, 5 hour, 7 hour flights, it became unbearable. When I was a kid, I always say, I'd rather be at work than at school. But I was wrong. Looking out of the airplane window, I would think, when will this end? It was around Christmas 2020, 1 year since I sat in a hotel room with COVID in China. I had no family around me. I thought maybe, just maybe, 2021 might be better. I was wrong.
It's been an interesting year, to say the least. When my partner and I were looking for a house, we chose one just outside of town in a more secluded area, very rural. I liked the idea of a peaceful setting to do our work in, and a place where we were able to store all of our equipment and supplies. It's 20-minute drive to our shop. We're renting a building for it. The house is pretty separate from people, but it felt right. So when the pandemic hit, I didn't think it would affect my social needs that much. But it really showed me how much I cared for everyone in my life. My mum, my dad. I used to be able to visit them once or twice every month and have tea, sit down and just talk. Now I can only see them outside of a window. I missed my friend's birthday a couple weeks ago. It doesn't help that my parents don't use a lot of technology either, so communication's limited to calls or texts. I obviously knew the business was going to suffer because of the guidelines, but we said that we'd make it through, and that's what we'll do. We make carved items based off of natural scenes and imagery. It's extremely fun to make new designs. We base them off of the woods that we lived near, listening to the bird song in the mornings and childhood memories of playing hide and seek in between the trees. We collect a lot of our wood from our local store, but like us, they've been suffering too. So our supplies aren't doing so good. But it's always best to sound the positive side. But I would be lying if I didn't say it was worrying me. Very stressful at the moment. You get it? Like my name, Claire Stressman, stressful. Never mind. It's especially stressful for my partner, Dale. He manages all the deliveries coming in and out. The online life isn't my thing. But as more and more are ordering online, the shop in town is starting to have no purpose. We're even considering selling it to save some money, but, well, if I were to describe this whole thing, it would be scary. Who could have predicted this? I'm just hoping, with all my soul, that soon this virus will disappear and things can go back to a somewhat normal. It would be so helpful to so many businesses, not just mine, but education, families. I'm lucky not to have lost anyone, but I wish those who have all the best. Yeah, it's been a very interesting year.
Hello, I'm Spencer, and I should go again. I'm Spencer and Zikaba, no, English. I've been studying here for 4 years, and I will apply to a company to help me start my career, but you already know that. What am I saying? Just keep it together, keep it together. I'm the best, I'm the greatest. But what if another klugscheißer and steals it from me? I still have to do this interview. What if they laugh? I'm a sad German boy lost in England. They'll turn me down, and then what will I do? I check the boards. I can't go back to Mummy. And I would laugh. I'm my own man now. I can't be coddle-waddled. Why can't they teach me this stuff at school? They talk about quantum physics, but they don't talk about taxes. I don't know what a 40-degree wash is. I'm moaning now, and I should be doing my video essay. I'm gonna try again tomorrow. I haven't got anything better to do.
I remember when I was younger, I used to have sleeping problems. My parents arguing really didn't help, and so late at night, I used to pretend I was in a different world with a different family. It was like Coraline, but like a really good version where it's happy and welcoming. I had red hair and nice clothes in my different world. And I used to be by the ocean. I used to swim every day. It felt so free. I really miss that. After this whole coronavirus, living in London away from my alternate world, it's too much. I really want to go to a different life right now. And I just wish I were a different person and I didn't overdose. And I mean, I'm happy I'm sober, but I wish people didn't give me so much sympathy. I wish people were just normal with me. I just want a nicer family and I want to be more chill. I also want some sushi.
My life? Not much to say, really. I live alone in a terrace in Sheffield. I have a cat named Fluffy. Is that a cut? I just cannot see that. Can you please put it away? Thank you. I have a cat named Fluffy, and I got it off one of the nurses. That cat was driving her crackers. I've been divorced now for 2 years, and I haven't been able to see my kids much. Kids. Well, I've got 2 kids. One, he's 5 and his name's Fred, and Anna, who's 14. She'll be 15 in September. I miss them. I want to see them a lot more. But their mum keeps trying to push them away from me. And, I haven't got enough money for the courting fees because they're giving porters pay cuts. It's not all her fault. I made a lot of bad choices in life. And my head hasn't been right since what happened to Dad. What happened? I remember it like it was yesterday. We was on holiday in Colorado, and he thought it was going to be really funny to climb up an old oak tree, but he went too hard and he fell off. Even to this day, every time I see blood, every time I close my eyes, as he fell, the branch went right through him.
My father died before I was born. I don't remember him at all. Apparently, he died by an oak tree. I don't really know. It's how my brother says he died, but I can't tell. I was only 14 when it started happening. My mother didn't really know what she was saying to me. Well, she did, but she didn't care. You're stupid, you're lazy, I hate you, and you're worthless. Yet she was the one who couldn't be bothered to get a job. She didn't pay for my uniform and I barely ate. I was blamed. I couldn't stand it. 2 more years, I would say to myself. When I turned 16, it had gotten worse. I had no friends, I was bullied, and my home was barely in existence. I bought a train ticket with my grandmother's money, and I enrolled myself into university in London at a really young age. I studied politics and worked as hard as I could. I managed to get a degree and started turning my dreams into reality. I met my husband and started turning my life around. I'd gone from being bullied to being the boss. As I grew as a person, I look back on who raised me and how far I'd come. My upbringing made me work hard and become who I am. I sometimes wonder if I was brought up in a detached house at the end of a cul-de-sac, and if I had parents that loved me, would I have craved the knowledge I have now? Would I have worked harder than anyone else I knew? Obviously, I despised the way I was treated and even pity my mother. She was that sad to treat a child like that. But part of me is grateful. I don't believe in a higher power, but I do believe in myself. And although I'm in a better place, my upbringing has been beaten into my DNA. I choose to ignore it, but it's always going to be a part of me. It did happen, and it's not a memory that I can forget. But I know that I'm strong. With all this coronavirus stuff, my mother has been hoping to meet Sadie. My daughter is too young to be exposed to her. I mean, she's only a baby. And when I was a baby, the things that my mother said and did to me still have an effect on me today. Along with this, she refuses to wear a mask and get vaccinated. As a civil servant, I am meant to, give off my opinions about masks and vaccinations and social distancing and whatnot. But I'm scared of getting the vaccine. If she finds out, then she'll do something with Sadie. I've gone 9 years without being in any contact with her, but she has this obsession with my daughter. Like, she's going to take her away from me or something. I don't know. She's the only nice thing that I've ever had in my life, and everything I have, my mum seems to take away from me. And obviously being left indoors all day takes a toll to one's mental health. There's this feeling deep down inside me, like my conscience or something, that's begging me and pulling me down just to forgive my mother. But I vowed myself to protect my daughter at all costs. And I don't know how I could forgive myself if anything happened to her. But I wonder if when she's older, my daughter will ask me and pound me about where I came from and what my childhood was like. But I don't really have an answer. Truth is, I had no childhood. I was too busy raising myself.
It's been so long since I've seen the outside world. Like, I've gone outside, but not outside. The little time I have off is spent sleeping, commuting, with no time to think. No time to breathe. I feel like I'm taking the air away from those who need it every time I stop. I can't let myself stop. Or is it that I'm not allowed to? It's been so long since I've seen my parents. I miss a cup of tea that my mum would make when I got home from a long day. I miss the blaring of the TV from my dad in the living room when I'd be trying to sleep before a night shift. Now I'm left with an empty room. And silence. It's only temporary, but it feels like a lifetime. Wake up, work, drive, eat, sleep, start again. It sounds like a kid's game when I say it like that. I don't have as much energy as I did skipping around the playground age 9. When I wished to be a nurse then, I didn't imagine this. I'm only young, 24, but aged a decade. There's no turning back after I've seen the amount of people I have in the past few months lying in hospital beds, helpless. But there's less help than ever before, understaffed, overworked, underpaid, overwhelmed. I don't expect anything less. I walk out the hospital and climb into my car after most shifts. The traffic lights blurring from trying to hold back the tears. And I'm too tired to properly let it out. The absence of my sobs echo through the stairwells up to the empty hotel room. catch myself laughing at the stupidity of it all. It's like I've taken a laughing gas myself. Maybe that's why I'm numb to it all now. Like up, work, drive, eat, sleep, start again.
Okay, no, obviously I don't want my grandparents to die, but I don't think you really understand what I'm saying. Let's look at the facts, right? Coronavirus has a death rate of less than 3%. That is absolutely tiny. Oh, your aunt died. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. But we've got to look at the bigger picture. This country supposedly prides itself on freedom, but I mean, look at the last year. I've barely left the house. And I do feel like the government's let us down a bit. The Conservatives used to be the party of fiscal responsibility. Look how much debt we're in. But if you look at the figures as well, the lockdowns don't even help anything. The second one in October didn't change the numbers at all. So why you think taking away people's freedoms is the best way to control a virus, I don't think I'll ever understand. Yeah, it does make me a bit angry. I mean, I missed my gap year for this. I've been stuck at home with my parents for almost 2 years, bored out of my mind. I don't even know if I'll get to go to uni next year. So yeah, that's why I'm here, because I can't stand it. I'm glad the vaccine rollout's gone so well though. Hopefully we'll be back to normal soon. I can't wait, if I'm honest. I want to see some of my more careful friends, not just the ones that are okay with bending the rules a bit here and there. I have to admit we have been out to the park a few times, but come on, an hour of exercise every day, all on your own, is not a reasonable rule. I did have to sneak out though. My parents followed all the rules to the letter. You know, I thought I did all right at A level, but apparently it wasn't good enough. I've got to go to Durham now. I can't go to Cambridge. I know they want the best for me, but sometimes I wonder if I really want to be a doctor at all.
Good afternoon. My name's Oliver Reed, and I work as a receptionist at Birmingham's Children's Hospital, much to my disgust. I mean, don't get me wrong, the staff and children are lovely, but it's just not my cup of tea. Oh, as you're probably wondering, how did I get this job? Well, it all began as I lost my job as a lawyer, but it's not as easy as your father being the boss now, is it? But I still had the money that my grandparents left me. And it's not the stuff you want to be doing at my age, 35. Oh, yes. And as for lockdown, I tried to keep myself busy. But I do a yoga, cooking, and a life club. And as for the life club, Pete, you just come in and you talk to me about your boring little lives, as if what you want me to do about it. And the yoga club is on a Monday and Tuesday evening if you want to come yourself. But apart from that, nothing else to report.
Well, before the past year, I was living in France, doing my year abroad as part of my French degree at uni. Before then, I was living in London, doing my second year as an undergraduate. I also applied for a few jobs and things, like working in Nando's, helping at a local primary school. I didn't get any of the jobs, but it still definitely was a good experience to apply. I lived in a flat with two other mates, Mark and Liam. Mark, he was always a bit of an anomaly, quite mysterious if you ask me. Still a nice guy nonetheless. But I was always a lot closer with Liam. I was with him since school. I remember about 4 years ago now, we were sitting in a park together. Didn't do too much, didn't plan anything, just sat in the beautiful sun. We weren't worrying about too much. We had just finished school. Yes, we had uni coming up, but we still had lots of time to enjoy ourselves. And then a group of two girls and a guy just came up to us and we started talking. And then somehow we went to a cafe with them and we spent ages there talking to each other. And then I invited them back to my house and we just spent the whole afternoon and evening just having a great time. But now I can't even meet Liam in the park. Never mind everything else. Sorry, to answer your question, I'm now volunteering as a helper in the local hospital with all the doctors and nurses. I feel busy yet not busy. I'm there all the time, yet I don't know what I'm doing, but I still feel this huge weight of responsibility. I had to come back from France last year and live with my dad in Birmingham. I haven't seen Mark or Liam in over a year. And I haven't talked to them either, online or anything. But I haven't seen my parents that much either, if at all. Morning, I wake up, I drive to the hospital. I got my license last year, at least one good piece of news. Anyway, I drive to the hospital, I get there, and I just spend the whole day, every day, long hours, trying to do something to help out. Then come back home in the evening and I want to procrastinate, talk to my parents, and they're not there. They're either asleep, they're out. Half the time I don't know what they're doing. I have to make food for myself and then I sleep and then repeat.
I remember when I was a boy, I used to play for hours. Life was so simple back then. Nothing on your mind, no grief, no loss, no problems at all. I could just live for that life. So simple yet so fulfilling. But now it's just loneliness. And I hate it, I really do. I would adore to just go back in time to those beautiful beaches with only my thoughts as a guide. But alas, I'm here, and it will get better. Just the sound of the sea in my ears. Lockdown, hey? Who would have thought it? Great Britain on the brink of utter collapse. I'd like everything to go back to normal, if I'm honest. When you get to my age, you don't care. You've only got a few years left anyway. And if you want to live those years however you want to, going traveling, seeing family. But no, I'm stuck here. And there's nothing wrong with my home or the people around me. It's just hard. I don't know, living alone. I try not to think about these things. Try not to let them cloud my mind. But sometimes I just can't stop.
Guys, it's Kevin back here for another weekly lockdown blog and an update on what's going on. I've got a really exciting story for you guys in a minute, but first I want to show you this thing I made. Right, so this is my front door, and basically here I've tied the door up to some surface cleaner here. So what it means is when people come in, they sort of get sprayed with the surface cleaner and they get magically cleaned and stuff, and so I'm being safe about COVID, and the government can't fine me for having a house party again. So that's just great, personally, I think. Let's have a look at the lockdown supplies. So first of all, kitchen's completely full of stuff. Brilliant. and I've got this cupboard completely full of toilet roll. I appear to have dropped one here, so right. So that's brilliant. If you guys don't have a stockpile yet, I'd really suggest getting it. It's just really helpful, and between you and me, I wouldn't be surprised if the government made up a new strain of the China virus just to keep us all indoors. So you don't want to have to be panic buying when that happens, you know. So that's all brilliant, and I reckon we can get into the story now. So I think the thing to think about in this story, sort of the moral of this story, is about how some people can just be really self-entitled, you know, and think everything's all about them. I mean, personally, I couldn't ever imagine being like that, but some people are, and that's a shame. So basically, this happened earlier last week, and for a bit of context, I had a cold, and I was feeling really horrible about it. You know, it was just so nasty. I had to take a paracetamol every day. I couldn't go to this massive house party on the block. I was really looking forward to that, you know, and it's just a shame. It was just awful. But I'm fine now, guys. Don't worry. So it's all gone. I'm fine. But that's just to, you know, have you guys know what's going on at the time. So because I was feeling really awful, I decided to pop into Asda and get some stuff to help myself feel better. And first of all, when I got in, the security guard was like really, really horrible to me about not wearing a mask. Like, come on, guys, it's 2021. It's my body, it's my choice. I'm allowed to not wear a mask if I want to, because this is all fake anyway. So, you know. But he was just really, really mean to me about it. And then later, right, I'm in the bakery section looking for my lobster, and I can't find it anywhere. So I sort of see this girl walk past, and she's in all green, and she's wearing a mask. So clearly she works there, right? And I ask her, you know, excuse me, where's the lobster? I was really polite, you know, and she just ignored me. I mean, it's just ridiculously rude, but whatever, it was fine. So I grabbed her arm and I demanded that she tell me where the lobster is. And get this, guys. Guess what she says? She says, "Get off me, I don't work here." When did young people become so rude that they'll just lie to get out of helping a genuine person like me? I mean, she was wearing the green uniform and she had a mask on, so clearly she worked there, right? Absolutely ridiculous. So I asked to talk to her manager, and she just walked away and ignored me again. So rude. Right. Fast forward a bit. I found my lobster. No thanks to her, I might mention. And I'm in the queue, and I'm waiting for it. Where, I must add, the person in front of me in the queue didn't even offer for me to take his place and go in front of him. Oh, so disrespectful. Anyway, I see the girl across on the counter, across from me, and I asked for the person at my counter whether they could sort of get their manager so I could talk to them about her. Guess what they say? Guess. They say she doesn't work there either. When did young people get so rude that they'd even help each other out in lying to genuine people like me just to get out of helping us? Absolutely disgusting. And then, get this, they ask, why am I not wearing a mask? Because I don't have to, because it's all fake anyway. And then they get the security guard that was really mean to me in the first place, that same guy, yeah, and they get him to throw me out. They didn't even let me keep my lobster with me. They didn't even let me take it with me. I was just getting that to, you know, feel better about my cold. And they just threw me out without it. Absolutely horrible. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Thanks for listening. I'll have a new blog post out in next week, I reckon. On Thursday, I reckon. And it'll be all about, you know, this whole transgender people and what that's all about, really. So Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.
Good afternoon, Mrs. No, that's bad. Good evening, Anne. So much worse. So much worse. I've been expecting you, Mr. Bond. Much better. So much better. But not quite. What was it? Professionalism and excellence. More lazy and incompetent. Yeah. Parents' evening. Never really been my thing. It just feels so clunky. Parents pretend like they care, and students sit there deeply uncomfortable with the situation. An awkward scenario made more awkward by the virtual. Let's have a look, shall we? Your kid has achieved a level 5. Whatever that means. I mean, I've calculated it, but yeah, your kid's performed below expected. But don't worry, so has everyone else, including me. I feel like I can't do anything. I've spoken to Jamie, and his kids are the same. They are struggling with their English skills. They haven't developed in the same way they need to. My kids aren't quite at the same level as his, but that doesn't change the fact that they're struggling. And there's not much I can do. I've given up. Because a certain percentage of these kids are fine. Because they're lucky enough to have you. Or rather, your money. Another percentage of these kids are well and truly screwed. Because they were unlucky enough to have you. Or rather, your cash. Or lack of it. There's nothing I can do. There are some hurdles that some of us face that others don't even realise exist. This year has made that so much worse. Because I can't help. I'm not there. So yeah, I'm giving your kid a grade that will box them off to Amazon. Or give them a decent paying job. While 2 streets down, another kid's dead. And across town, there's the future PM. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it.
Jacob drew a picture of you today at school. He was told to draw a superhero. He came home with it shoved into the bottom of his school bag. One of the corners was folded over and God only knows how part of it got wet. But, it wasn't one of those pictures that he rushes to give you. One where you can see the pride in his eyes. The fact that he didn't give it to me himself made me unsure how to approach him about it, or whether I should approach him about it, but I don't know, it's not like I needed to ask who it was. The uniform, the bright orange crayon used for the hair, it kind of tipped me off. As well as the wings. Asymmetrical, but somehow makes you seem mid-flight. Impressive for a 6-year-old. I wonder if you were flying up or down towards or away from us. Well, his teacher asked if I had a moment when I picked him up today. I didn't, not that it matters. He told me Jake would talk to himself throughout the day, worried that lockdown has been lonely for him. He's not talking to himself, though, is he? You know, it's strange hearing someone telling me about concerning behaviour from my child when I know he's picked it up from me. The teacher mentioned the drawing, briefly. You could tell he felt uncomfortable bringing you up. Turns out, Jake's not the only kid who drew you. You're everyone's hero. Everyone. And they're right, of course. They're right. It's rare to see such an intense selflessness up close. A selflessness that, in the moment, causes a person to choose a stranger's life over their own. Over watching their son grow up. I love you. And I know, I've always known that's who you are. And I am so proud of you. But I'm sorry. Today, I realised I don't think you can be my hero.